Joining me now is Illinois Senator Tammy Duckworth, who is the first Thai American woman to be elected to Congress. Thank you very much, Senator, for being with us. And thanks for your testimony. What do you hope comes out of this hearing today?
I hope that Americans realize that Asian Americans are suffering racist attacks, and that we bring to those who are in authority a visibility on these hate crimes against Asian Americans. We know that that hate crimes against Asian Americans are significantly underreported and often are not listed as hate crimes, but are just, it's a typical harassment or robbery or something like that, when it is clearly a crime that was targeted based on somebody's race.
What is your reaction to the murders in Atlanta?
I mean, just shocked, unfortunately not surprised. Asian American women in particular have always been seen as subservient and meek, and that they are the type of victim a bully or someone would target. I'm just horrified that this happened. I worry for the AAPI community all over this country, and I worry for the families of the victims of that shooting. And I'm even more deeply concerned that apparently the sheriff or the authority figure involved actually, sort of came to defense of the alleged perpetrator and said, oh, he just had a bad day. I'm sorry, you murdered people. You targeted people in 3 different locations. That wasn't a bad day. That was a massacre.
Exactly right. And we were, in fact, talking about that earlier today, earlier in the program, because he just was making excuses for this murder and also potentially damaging the prosecution's case by putting out, these kinds of explanations, which have nothing to do with the case itself. The Director of National Intelligence also released its report yesterday. It's actually the first time outlining the growing threat of domestic terrorism, what that means here in the U.S., what needs to be done to combat these threats, and to protect Asian Americans who've become a target of what they're calling, not only that domestic violent extremists here pose this great threat, but many of them are lone offenders or small cells likely to carry out violent attacks, and many of them are racially or ethnically motivated extremists, most likely to conduct mass casualty attacks, and groups promoting white supremacy are most concerning, in fact, to the authorities. How do you think this affects the Asian American Pacific Islander community?
Oh, they're terrified. This is a real threat to our community. And remember that many in the AAPI community, in especially large cities, are gathered in particular areas. Everybody has a Chinatown, for example. You have Koreatown in Los Angeles. We're very proud of our vibrant Chinatown and Little Saigon in Chicago, in my own home state. People there feel extremely exposed and vulnerable. I'm so grateful that our mayor of Chicago, Lori Lightfoot, has stepped up today and said that she will make sure that they have extra police presence and support. But, that needs to happen across the country. And I know the AAPI community all across this country is really very scared right now because they don't see their concerns being taken seriously. And it took a massacre in Georgia to get even a little bit of national attention on this issue, which has been growing for the past years, and even in the last year, we've seen AAPI, crimes against AAPIs increase by over 150% in our nation's major cities, 150%. That's just not acceptable.
What has been your experience growing up and even in the military in terms of discrimination?
Yeah. Well, it's funny. AAPI are the one group in the United States that are often treated as the other. To this day, I still get asked, so where are you from, really? And when I say, well, actually, my ancestors have been here since before the Revolution. I'm a daughter of the American Revolution. You might recall during the debates for my last election, my own opponent questioned my ancestry, whether or not I was American enough, just because I am biracial, I'm half Asian. And that's what Asian Americans see all the time. When I was in service, people would often, I'm from Chicago, so a lot of the guys in my National Guard unit are Polish and Irish guys, big, tall, blonde guys, and we would go places and people would be like, wait, the little Asian girl is in charge? And on the one hand, that is great for the United States, that diversity is there and that when we present ourselves to the world, we show how great and diverse our nation is. But on the other hand, it is this systemic, persistent perception of Asians as not being Americans or as being others, and especially Asian women as being meek and subservient, and they're often targeted. A lot of these hate crimes you see are targeting Asian elderly and Asian women in particular.
And there's also a related problem. I know we're almost out of time, but a lot of people, Asian Americans, have been afraid to either complain or deal with the authorities.
Well, they haven't because they've not been taken seriously. So many crimes against Asian Americans that are really hate crimes have not been listed or cataloged as hate crimes, and they don't see their concerns taken seriously. It's one of the reasons why I am now working to ask the Biden administration to investigate and really look through the Justice Department at the crimes that have taken place and whether or not some of these were actual hate crimes that were never listed as hate crimes.
Senator Tammy Duckworth, thank you so much. It's such a big contribution to the conversation today.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.